you now have the ability to do high frequency testing. However, at the same time that we released 1.4, we also introduced a new transducer option, which is shown here on the right, which is the DD65 V2s. And those transducers, which look a lot like the DD450s, which you see here on the left, those transducers only have the range between 250 and 8K. So if you have those transducers, you will not be able to do high frequency testing. You need to have the DD450s, which can take the entire standard octave range and then also the high frequencies as well. Like I said, these were the DD450s were the original transducers released when we released AMTAS Flex. So let's take a look at the GSI AMTAS Flex configuration application, and I could walk you through how to get started with high frequency testing. So when we first launched the application, it brings us to the report page. And of course, we'll want to make sure we go down to our workflow here and we can make our determinations about what's happening before the test if we're doing our headphone check or collecting demographic information. The only thing that we need to make sure here before we do any high frequency testing is to make sure that diagnostic is selected. That is the default. And then, of course, you can determine if you want to do something after the test as well. But then once we've got that selected, we can bring down, we can go down here to air diagnostic and we can include our high frequencies. So you'll see by default between 250 and 8,000, those are the frequencies that are selected. So you have options of either number one, leaving those intact and then just adding the high frequencies to your protocol. So it'll do the standard test with these and then move on to the high frequency testing once it's completed your standard octaves. With this version 1.4 or above, you do also have the ability now to deselect octaves. Previous versions of AMTAS would only maybe allow you to deselect 250, but 508 were all needing to be included in order to do testing. We now have the ability to deselect these, so we can uncheck those and just do our high frequency testing. Or we could do a combination of some frequencies in our standard octaves, we can include some inner octaves, and then have our high frequency tests as well. The only real rule to keep in mind is that if you want to include these inner octaves, as you see them kind of going between gray and available, is that you need to have both the adjacent octaves selected. So for 3000, for example, you need to have 4 and 2 selected in order to get 3 included in that protocol. The other thing I do want to point out is that any of these frequencies here that have an asterisk by them need to be included in order for you to generate the full AMTAS quality indicators table. That gives you information about how the patient took the test and information about the validity and reliability of that test. The reason is that all of these frequencies were included in the initial research, so they need to be included in order to generate that table. You can, however, deselect them, like I was talking about, and get either a limited table or not that kind of information and just your high frequencies, but that is just something to keep in mind if those are deselected. Okay, so once you've completed testing, you can launch once you've got your protocol selected, like say I've got what I want here, it's pretty standard. I can either hit start test, or I can just close the configuration application, launch it from the AMTAS Flex icon, and this is the protocol that it will follow. And once testing is completed, in our reports page of the software, we can go into and pull up a new report page that will be a high frequency report. It'll have its own little icon, and I can show you that real quickly right here. When you go to reports, you're looking for this high frequency icon right here. Kind of looks like an audiogram that's precipitous. And you can find that second report page attached to your patient that way. So if you did the standard octaves, you would get the quality indicators. So like I said, if you included the 250, or rather 500 to 8, as well as the high frequencies, you'll get this quality indicator table as well, which carries over into that second page. So that is how you set up AMTAS Flex high frequency testing and what to expect.